Before first things first, I've just called Anil and told them to bowl outside the off stump for the next like 5 or 6 minutes and give me some attention, and so he's agreed to do that. So if I time this right, we can all go out and have lunch and watch Australia getting beaten by India. I'm Ravi Mundoli, and I'm from Nadhi Systems. My associates are Kalyan Vaidyanathan and Dr. William O'Brien. I'm based out of Hyderabad. I sometimes am, and now there's two of us, but we do the engineering out of Hyderabad. Kalyan is based in Boston, and he does some business development and engineering as well. And Bill is a professor of civil engineering, and he's sort of advising us in our in an advisory capacity, and he tells us about the cutting edge and where we ought to be looking. We are in the space of we are building systems for specialty construction subcontractors. So I'm just going to talk a bit about what that space is and why we're in it. And though it's a very drab subject, I guess when you drive down this road and you see all that dust and construction and sort of complain about it, I'm seeing opportunity. So there is opportunity there, and that's where we're trying. That's what we're trying to exploit. Construction subcontractors are small firms, small medium firms that are engaged in specialty construction trades. This is highly specialized work, electrical work, AC, mechanical work, ventilation, that sort of work. The way the industry works is that a client contracts out a project to a general contractor who actually doesn't do the work themselves. They farm it out to the subcontractors, and the subcontractors are the guys who actually execute. They do the procurement, they get the resources, they do the work. These guys are working across multiple projects at the same time, and they have to manage their resources, which is equipment and their guys across these projects, and they're in a fairly fluid situation. Priorities change, delays happen, and if there is a delay, they're working on a fixed cost basis, so they have to they're penalized for delays. So it's very costly for them to get into delays. So someone who's running this business is involved in a bunch of activities. Basically, they have to schedule labor, which is in itself a task. They have to communicate to their employees on where to go next, what job to take up next, and switch people over as needed. They have to do estimation, check out whether they can bid on new projects, build their pipeline, make sure that there's work coming in and their labor is not sitting idle. And of course, they have to do tracking of their projects and reporting. All of this is currently done in a fairly ad hoc manner. There are tools, they use the basic sort of office-based tools, but there isn't anything that's specifically tailored towards them. There is a considerable amount of time spent on this reassignment, recalculation kind of activity, as well as time spent on communicating out the new schedules to their employees over the phone. And because they're hedging against spikes or uncertainties, they have periods when labor is idle and periods when they're overworked, and so they have to pay overtime, both of which is something that they wouldn't like. And of course, they don't have visibility into the future. Sort of ends up with a very confused kind of a boss. So as I said, the pain points are mistakes leading to delays, which lead to penalties, and nothing to help them mitigate this. So what we are proposing is a solution that's easy to use, tools that are lightweight and won't take like a week's install by a consultant. They're resource focused rather than project focused like traditional project management tools. They're forward looking. They give you tools that will help you predict what your revenues are, or when you're going to have cash in hand, when you have to meet milestones, things like that. Tool that help them simplify communication, and of course that's at the right price for this range. I'll just show you a couple of screenshots. With the actual tool running it, the resolution won't show you very clearly. This is the basic. We are saying we'll keep it simple. The boss has just like 4 things to do. He can set up his projects. He can set up his resources. He can manage his schedule, which is look at what the current assignment is, reassign, do that kind of stuff, and he can take a look at reports. I can show you the screen later on offline, perhaps. What is different about us is that we also have a mobile phone component built in, because all of these the field crews nowadays are equipped with mobile phones, and the tool will automatically publish their schedules to them, so they don't have to come into the office or they don't have to spend time on the phone to talk about their, to find out what they're doing today or whatever. So they can send updates back, and this is factored into the new plan. So if somebody has started work, then he's locked for that period. You can't reassign that guy to some other job. So the tool takes care of the optimization engine takes care of that aspect. So as we believe that we have met these needs, the tools, we have built a simple, easy to use tool. It's lightweight, and as I said, it's resource focused and not project focused. So the tool plans across projects. And yeah, it gives you what ifs. You can add a new project and see how it affects your schedules. You can see how it affects your cash position, things like that. And let's just talk a bit about the money, which is probably what everybody is wondering about. Where's the money in this business? So Department of Labor says that in the US there are close to 200,000 firms in the range that we are looking at, 20 to 100 people. And we have a pricing model that's based on on a subscription basis, where we are considering that we'll ask them to pay an hourly wage of the employee over a month, kind of a model, which is intuitive to them. I mean, they understand, oh, I've saved so much time, so it's reasonable to pay for an hour's time. Of course, we haven't ignored the other markets. There are Europe, Middle East, Asia, Southeast Asia. Construction is booming everywhere, and this is one industry where if it's bust somewhere, it's happening somewhere else. So we're very conscious of that, and we will try to tap into those markets. In India, also there is a need for this. Increasingly, I mean, there's a perception that this construction is very low tech, and it's a guy with a trowel and a lungi. Kind of a perception, but if you look at a place like this, or one of the IT parks or the biotech parks, they do have very sophisticated systems. So they need very specialized kind of work to be done there, and we believe we can help them out there. We are in fact doing I'll just talk about it in a bit, but we're doing a pilot in India which is validating some of that. How do we get this out to the guys? I mean, how do we sell this thing? One channel that we think is fairly major is through the mobile phone providers themselves, who, for example, Sprint Nextel in the US is ubiquitous in the construction industry. So that's one way would be to tie up with them and have this as a value-added service. There are partnerships with construction software vendors. There are other large SAP type vendors who are getting into this space. And we have had discussions with one of them. They want what they provide is the leverage, the muscle to get into these markets. They have the money to spend on marketing in SMEs, and so we could sort of piggyback on them, and they piggyback, well, not piggyback, they elephant back on us. And of course, there's direct sort of marketing at trade shows through publications, magazines, and that kind of channel. A little bit about the team. We are all civil engineers, BTechs and BSs in civil engineering, and Kalyan and I are from alumni of IITM, and we have experience in both academic as well as industry experience in civil engineering, supply chain and optimization. Between us, we have run companies. Bill and Kalyan have published papers in this space, and we believe that we are sort of ahead of the curve in this space, in that sense. And finally, what next? Where do we go? So we have a prototype. We are doing a couple of pilot implementations. We're talking with a couple of subcontractors in the US for a pilot implementation. We're already doing a pilot at a biotech park in India, and we're at Proto to sort of find out what other people are doing. I mean, it's a reality check. We have been sort of sitting in a hole and doing this thing for the last year or so, and we want to find out, get a slap in the face. We've already had some very good comments. We've thankfully and very honestly, Protoans have said that our UI sucks, and we kind of knew it. So that's something we're going to work on. And thankfully, Proto has also given us a lead to someone who's a designer who could possibly help us fix that. And any kind of contacts you can lead us to customers in India, industry, construction. If you guys know some builders who could use something like this, let us know, and possibly start some conversations about some early stage funding. So that's Nadhi, and thank you for your time, and go India.